Hello, groupies. Welcome to PIAC Minnesota Paranormal. And I want to just talk to you for a few minutes about a very misunderstood supernatural realm called purgatory. Now, in traditional religious belief systems, it is accepted that we would live our life a certain way, good or bad, and then we would end up going to purgatory to have our sins weighed against our good deeds. And then, depending on how the math uh, turns out, you either go to heaven or hell. I disagree with that. I don't believe in the traditional heaven and hell. I believe that there is a place that we all go, but it's a different level of existence for all of our spirits, and that when we pass away, we go into this in between, this purgatory place, to have our life review and our big sleep, something I call the big sleep, because there are some philosophical, theoretical opinions that when we pass away, our spirit needs to regenerate itself. And one of the things we do is we literally go to sleep for what we humans would call several months. And it's to regenerate. So the first step is to pass through the veil, and the second step is to pass through the veil into purgatory, or the in-between. And when you're there, you're going to have a life review. So that review is going to be of all of, the things that you did that affected people that were really good and really not so good. So it's not like they're going to, the management in purgatory is going to, take a cattle prod to you, or, tie you to a bed of nails or some horrible thing like that. You're not being punished. Okay. The punishment is a very sophisticated, or punishment for a lack of a better explanation. When you do something really heinous and horrible in this life, and you go through the veil and you get to the in-between, purgatory, and you are having your life review, there isn't a bunch of demons hanging around or minions hanging around to torture you and terrorize you. What happens is, imagine that you're in a theater all by yourself and there's a big screen in front of you and your life is being played out. But it's a three-dimensional screen. It's one of those OmniVision screens there. And if you hurt someone in any way at all, and you are being shown that scene in purgatory, you are going to be reversing your role. You are going to be your own victim, and you are going to experience fully the emotions, physical, mental, spiritual, all of the fear and confusion, everything that victim experienced when you caused them harm, you're going to experience and feel. And if you don't feel, if you're a sociopath or something, not to worry, because all of that emotion is part of the life review. All of that fear and that confusion and terror, that's all a part of it. So yeah, they're going to hit you head on. And if you don't want to experience a lot of scary things, a lot of these scary things, torture and whatnot in purgatory, then you need to live a good life where you're not harming anyone or anything. Make a conscientious effort to be a good person, law-abiding and passive and respectful. Because the less you do, the less you have to review, as far as, the good and the bad. But if you have done things that you should atone for, ask forgiveness, atone, recognize those errors that you made right now, today in this life. And then when you do, once you've atoned for that here on earth, then when you go to the other side, it's already done. You've already paid the price for that. You've already atoned for that. Purgatory is going to hit you with the good and the bad, but it's going to hit you with the bad, and you're going to be confronted with the souls of the people that you harmed. And you're going to be confronted, I mean, whether it's an animal or a child or whatever, you're going to be confronted with those souls, if they are in fact there. Or they will have substitute souls in there to play their role, and they're going to whoop your ass. So, in a spiritual sense, again, there's no hot pokers, there's no beds of nails, there's no torture or anything like that. What they are going to do is have you experience what a terrified, vulnerable human being would experience in a terrifying and vulnerable event. And then once you have atoned for those things that you did that harmed others in this life and you didn't atone for while you were alive, once you get through that, then you're going to be faced with the good that you did. And you're going to experience how those who were affected positively by your good actions, how they felt. And you're also going to meet any of your dead relatives and family, friends, and so on that impacted your life, that you impacted their lives. You're going to have a chance to meet and greet with them as well. And typically it's going to be the most specific, the most important ones, the most impactful ones that you'll meet. And then when it's all over, you're going to sleep. There's going to be like a heavenly bedroom somewhere, I've already got mine picked out. Yeah, it's going to be badass. And your spirit's going to lie down, and you're going to go into a deep sleep, and you're going to be blank. There's going to be nothing there. And then you're going to wake up and go to the spiritual level that your spirit is intended to go to. And you're going to, meet new and old spirits. You're going to talk about the things that you are going to be learning as a spirit on that level, the possibility of reincarnating, or what your role is going to be. Are you going to be a spirit guide? Are you going to come back as another person? Are you going to, hook up with Azrael, the Grim Reaper, and maybe be a Reaper for a while, which is what I want to do. I really do. Yeah. So, I got this figured out. I'm going to, when I get to the afterlife, and that's what's after purgatory, We have our life here on earth, and then we pass away and travel to the veil, go through the veil, end up in the in-between, which is also known as purgatory. And then once we're done in purgatory, then we'll go to the afterlife. And in my afterlife, I'm going to apply for a job with Azrael. I want to be a Reaper. I want to help souls across, not in a bad way, but in a good way, like we do here at PIAC, Minnesota Paranormal. Because, our primary focus is to guide the dead to the other side, where they can find peace, and they don't belong here anymore. And the longer they stay here, the less chance they have of continuing on and becoming another person, or being a spirit somewhere. They'll just disintegrate into nothing. They don't belong here. And once you pass through the in-between and the afterlife, and you're hanging out and you're not quite sure what you're going to do, or you got some unfinished business, you can come back. You can come back once you're fully revived again. You can come back and as a spirit and interact with your family, or give them messages, or just hang, because sometimes we pass away before all of those lessons that we could have learned or should have learned happen. It's believed that we have, again, those philosophical theoretical opinions, that we have the ability to pass away at, I think they say 3 different points. There's going to be like 3 different points in every human being's life where you could pass away, and if you get through one and decide to stay, something keeps you here. And then the second one comes along and the same thing happens. And when the third comes along, you're kind of screwed. You got to go. But school's still on that here at PIAC, Minnesota Paranormal, because, I'm not 100% sure why they would give you options like that. I mean, if you have a preset life, a pre-plan with God, this contract with God, with the universe, to come here and live this life as this person and have these experiences because you have to. It's part of your growth and evolvement. Why would they yank you out before you had a chance? I don't know. It sounds kind of weird to me. But anyway, purgatory, not a bad place. I prefer calling it the in-between. And where we go after that's called the afterlife. There's no good heaven, bad hell. I don't believe in that. I believe that hell is a manufactured punishment threat to keep children in line and to scare people into submission and control. I don't believe that there's actually a horrible, torturous place. But then I believe in a purgatory and an afterlife. So, I don't know, maybe, But there's been a lot of evidence, a lot of documented cases of people that have passed away and come back. The near-death experiences and so on. And people who have been born into this life and they're still existing within that other life, and it's a bleed through. So yeah, I feel comfortable with the in-between and the afterlife. So don't be afraid of that in-between, because people fear death. We fear death for all kinds of crazy reasons, but one of them is that people fear that life review. They fear purgatory. They fear that they're going to go to hell. So if that's something that's on your mind, then you definitely need to be conscientious of how you live your life. Be loving, kind, compassionate. Be passive. Don't hurt people. Remember that your thoughts are power as well. And if you think negative thoughts, you're going to bring negative energy into you and into your environment, and those that are around you could be affected. So strive to be a good person, but remember, we're all human beings, and human beings are imperfect. So, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to unintentionally hurt people. You are going to cause, harm, whatever level or degree is up to you, I guess. But if you realize that you've done something that you feel bad about, and you should feel bad about that, then that's when you would ask for forgiveness and acknowledge that you did this and atone for it. And always, realize that when you realize that you've made an error, that you've hurt somebody, that is the time to atone. That is the time to ask for forgiveness and apologize. And that's important. Don't let things linger. And, just get it off of your chest, because the more forgiveness and atonement that occurs in this life, the less you deal with in purgatory. But it's also important to know that we all need to strive to be decent human beings, and to try to be better than your IQ and your emotional development. Try to always take the high road, try to be the better person. And a good example of this is a few weeks ago, I was with some people I love very, 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 very much. And I happened upon some of those people, and I saw something that I thought was shocking, and it was just completely not a good thing. And I confronted them about it, but as it turns out, I misread what I had seen, and I had hurt these people's feelings very deeply. The minute I found out that I hurt their feelings, which was almost right away, I the first opportunity I got, I pulled them aside. I told them that I was wrong, that I had misinterpreted what I had seen, that I was very, 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 very sorry, and that I believed that nothing had happened. And we gave each other hugs and kisses, and I told them how much I loved them and to forgive me and that I was very sorry. And they were really, really happy that I had apologized and sincerely apologized, because I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. I never want to create a bad feeling in anybody. Well, I mean, there's some politicians, but those politicians get to go to purgatory too. Nobody gets away from purgatory. Yeah, your days come closing. So, in conclusion, I want you all to be reassured that there is no heaven and hell. I swear to you, I do not believe it, and I want you not to believe that either. And I get that traditional religions and stuff, everybody has a right to believe whatever they want. And I guess the heaven and hell concept is a good way to keep people in check. It's to keep yourself and others in check. Well, if you do that, you're going to go to hell, But then the person accusing you of that or telling you that you're going to go to hell, how do they know? Maybe them accusing you is bad and they're going to go to hell for that, I mean, it gets to be really twisted, So the moral of the story is just try to strive to be the best person you can each and every day. And some days you're just not going to have it in you. Some days you're just going to have to go back to bed and forget about it. Some days you are going to have to confront people and put a stop to wrongdoing. Some days you're not going to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. But, try to be conscientious of things that you do and you say and think. Because that energy goes out into the universe and it can harm or help others. And if you realize, or if you are confronted with something that you've done wrong, if you've hurt someone's feelings, if you've offended somebody, if you've stolen from somebody, if you've done something, seek them out, ask forgiveness and atonement, and seek out your higher powers and ask forgiveness and then atone. Because once it's done here, you're not going to have to deal with it on the other side. So I think striving to make purgatory less uncomfortable should be the goal in our lives, don't you think? And the fact that we love all, and we shouldn't be, doing bad things to people, but we're human. We're imperfect. We make mistakes. The thing is to learn from those mistakes and recognize them right away and correct that problem. So until next time, may you be filled with the light and love of the universe and always do good.